Myself, I am R.BHUSHAN. Welcome to ASG IAS Current Affairs. Editorial of the Hindu newspaper, The Hindu, Wednesday, September 11, 2019. Facing up to reality. Facing up to reality. Given its achievements, ISRO should not hide setbacks with the cell phone of national pride. This article was written by Jacob Koshi. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO has witnessed many trials and tribulations. In this book, my Odyssey memoirs of the man behind the Mangalyaan mission, Chairman ISRO 2019 to 14, K. Radhakrishnan, recounts a difficult moment before a crucial press conference. So this was after a geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle GSLV rocket carrying a very expensive GSAT-4 plummeted into the Bay of Bengal in 2010. He writes, a teary-eyed Dr. Raghavan, the senior colleague, and came up with a hug me. This telling a failure, I decided to face the media alone. ISRO has also faced the ridicule over the years. A founding scientist of ISRO, R. Mudan, writes in his memoir about the reactions of the children after India finally placed a satellite in orbit using satellite launch vehicle SLV. My little sons were thrilled, and in their schools, the SLV had been dubbed as the sea-loving vehicle, and now the father organizations had been vindicated. The SLV's cousin, the augmented satellite launch vehicle SLV, quickly on its own epithet says Nambi Narayan, the embedded ISRO scientist, in his book. The vehicle was so aerodynamically jinxed that every time it was just launched in the plugged into the sea, it came to be known as the always sea loving vehicle, changing the narrative. In all these accounts, there is no mentions of the ISRO facing budgetary cuts or opprobrium over the descending trajectory of its satellite. That is why the spectacle that unfolded last week after India's failure to the soft land on the Vikram lander on the moon raises the troubling questions of the ISRO feels the need to airbrush setbacks by retrospective altering the narrative less than 24 hours. ISRO chairman K. Sivam made it apparent that Vikram lander had ceased to be touched down in the predicted lines. Vikram went from being the heat of the mission to being only 5% of the mission objective. We have already done 90%, 90 to 95% technology demonstrations, Mr. Shivam said. ISRO provides a 4 region on its website what made the Chandrayaan-2 missions special. This would be the first space mission to conduct a soft landing on the moon's south pole, the first Indian expedition to attempt a landing on the lunar surface using homegrown technology, the first Indian mission to explore the lunar terrain with a homegrown technology, and would make India only the 4th country to soft land on the moon. Chandrayaan-2 was initially conceived on a collaborative mission between India and Russia. India was to make the orbiter spacecraft and the launch vehicle GSLV, and Russia was to provide the lander and rover. Russia then said that it would only provide the lander. Later, Russia pulled out of the mission, and India ultimately decided to design a lander and rover on its own. This delayed the Chandrayaan-2 mission by nearly 4 years and advanced India's Mars mission. Therefore, it's hard to understand how much iconic module that shows the India ability to design a space vehicle suddenly become only 5% of overall mission's objective. Remember, it was Vikram's camera that sent beautiful images of Earth as viewed from the space. August 4th, with its special SHOS mission, the Chandrayaan-2 is now league of its predecessor Chandrayaan-1 launched in 2008, which included the lunar orbiter and a moon impact probe that crash landed on the lunar equatorial surface. The key difference is the Chandrayaan-2 propelled by GSLV MAC third rocket went all the way to the lunar orbit. This proved that ISRO had mastered the nonsense of the cryogenic engine that which allows rockets capable of the carrying heavier payloads to be designed. This is going to be what truly propels India into the league of the spacecraft. It's a puzzling then the Prime Minister Narendra Modi opted for the view of sensitive failure-prone segmented of launch the lift off far away from the Syria headquarters but close to with the scientist only to the land at the 5% tail end of the mission. The Chandrayaan-2 orbiter carries 8 instruments on the board to the photograph the moon, in which better detail than previous missions. While the focus over the last few days been Vikram, there is no information said to those sophisticated instruments have discovered so far. Soon after Vikram debacle, ISRO announced that the mission life of the orbiter had been now dramatically increased the 7 years after the projected 1 to 2 years. As these are the futuristic projection, it would be premature to assume 100% of the arbitrary stated objective have been met, especially because ISRO doesn't specify how it attributes weights to different aspects of the Chandrayaan 2. While every screw is critical to the success of the space mission, it doesn't follow that each of them carries equal weight to the determining the overall success to the mission. Rarified club. It is in the nature of the organization everywhere, particularly when there is a project of the significant public money is being news in the later bad press. However, in spite of the delayed launch, Chandrayaan 2 has never had faced negative publicity. Even before the GSLV embarked on its journey, it was already drilled into the minds of the expectations would low. We are informed, for instance, that the success rate of the moon lander missions historically was about 46%. We are told that the odds of the failure were high, but the India would join the rarefied club of the nation that achieved this. US, Russia, and China. If it tested success, it needs to be underlined that India to be decades as a part of the rarefied space club that consists only a handful of countries capable of the launching homemade satellites abroad home rocket. Therefore, the only pressure of the ISRO faced the Chandrayaan 2 was to conform to social media fueled national pride, 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 national pride. ISRO's founding chairman Vikram Sarabhai that once said, "We do not have the fantasy of the competing with economically advanced nations in the exploration of the moon or the planets and the manned space flight. We must have second to none in the application of the advanced technology to real problems of man and society." While that may be a dated quote, the operative word is a competing. ISRO success are built on the altar of the multiple failure improved over 5 decades. It still has a long way to go from the successful grooming private sector industry capable of providing many more jobs to ensuring that they maintain its meritocratic meritocratic work of culture and ability to hire talented engineers who can invest it in its work while getting it the world to share in the success is important. ISRO only needs to explain its setbacks and not hide them with the cell phone of the nation pride. Thank you so much.